A job to do. As a member of the junior Hitler Youth ranks, I had a job during air raids, the same job every other young folk had. Each of us had a section of a Berlin street that was ours, and our job was to run there as soon as the sirens rang and make sure that everyone who lived on that street got to the air raid shelter before the Allied bombs started to fall. At the sound of the siren, we were all out of our seats and running for the door. Class hadn't even started yet. The Allies were up early today, too. Fritz snatched the blueprint from me and stuffed it back into his rucksack. I caught myself reaching out for it and had to pull my hand back, watching the paper disappear with a gnawing ache like hunger. I had to get my hands on the rest of those blueprints. The Allies had to have a jet fighter of their own to survive. "Talk to you later," Fritz said, as he ran off to do his job. "You bet you will," I said under my breath. I was going to stick to him now like medals on a Nazi general's uniform. I ran to my street. Mostly young married women lived there, some of them with babies, others with children in school, off doing their own jobs during the air raid. Hardly any men. Most any man old enough to fight was away in the army, or dead. The air raid sirens wailed as I hurried the women and little kids to the shelter underground. I was supposed to shut myself in with them when I was sure we were all present and accounted for, but today I had another person I needed to check in on, and now was the perfect time to do it. The first bombs started to fall across the city as I ran back to the embassy. I could hear the dull boom, boom, boom in the distance, and then the ack-ack guns, the anti-aircraft guns, began firing back. Toof, 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 toof. They were far enough away that I wasn't worried. Besides, I had to deal with the Allied bombers. I didn't shoot at them, and they didn't shoot at me. That was a joke, of course. They had no idea who or what their bombs were hitting when they dropped them from the planes by the ton, but I like to think it was true. I ran through empty streets full of empty houses. Anyone could have walked right in and stolen all the silverware, food, radios, anything of value. And sometimes that was just what people did during air raids. People who were poor or starving or just looking out for themselves. That was part of the job of the Gestapo and the SRD, to patrol the empty neighborhoods during air raids and make sure nothing was stolen. They took the job very seriously, too. The penalty from stealing from houses while everyone was underground in bomb shelters was death. There weren't any Gestapo or SRD on the street near the embassy when I got there, and I ran up the steps and plowed inside. It was strange to not be met by a servant, to be entirely alone in the house. It was creepy, actually. It felt like everyone in the world was dead and gone, except for me. But of course, I wasn't the only person there. I ran from my father's study and knocked on the door, calling out for Simon. I hoped he was already out of the secret room, walking in circles on his injured foot. Air raids were the only time he could really get out and walk around without anybody seeing him. Simon unlocked the door and let me in. "Good Lord, Michael, you scare the life out of me. What are you doing here?" "The Nazi jet plane," I stammered, trying to catch my breath. "Projekt 1065. I saw the blueprints."